Welcome to Close Enough
Are we
Podcast.
going to do this? Is this what we're doing?
No, we're not doing this. All right. Hi, and welcome to Close Enough Podcast. This is Mike.
And this is Jay. Bit of a change in format this week. We've been absent for a few weeks. We're going to blame the gods of data corruption on that one, and generalized laziness. And I'm going to blame Mike.
I have nothing to do with the data corruption.
I'm still going to blame you.
I'm used to it.
Well, we lost the first iteration of episode 10, then pulled in a guest to try and record it again. That didn't work either. So here's take 3 of episode 10, the year in review. So, Mike, anything interesting happened to you this year?
Nothing special, really. Let's see. I opened a new restaurant earlier. Hated most of it. Worked there nonstop. Switched restaurants. My car died. I got a new car. Got it repoed at some point.
Good call.
Got it back.
Nice.
Yes, that's the plus.
So you got a new car twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, nothing special happened. Mostly just doing a lot of work and, typical paycheck to paycheck. Just keeping up with the rat race of life. What about you, Jay? Anything interesting happened to you this year?
My year was fairly simple. I worked, bought a race car, worked on it every weekend, still isn't ready. So my father got married this year. Got to go up to New England for the ceremony. Wonderful, wonderful ceremony, by the way. First time all of my siblings were in one place in about 10 years. And started a podcast with one of my best friends.
What's a podcast?
It's what we're doing right now.
We're talking.
Yeah. You know the microphone you got there?
Yeah.
People can hear us.
There's people listening to us?
Probably. It's on the internet.
It's on the internet?
Yeah. On the YouTube.
So, Jay, I know you're kind of a voyeur and you've been peeping people's windows. Told us what happened to you this year. What have you been thinking about this year?
Well, plenty of things happened this year and gave us plenty to think about. From the Ebola outbreak to the Ferguson riots to Spaceship Two crashing in the Mojave to the first successful test flight of Orion to landing on a comet and getting pissed off about T-shirts.
Yeah, we had a little conversation going on about that one.
We did talk about some of these things.
So the Ebola outbreak, has that still been going on? Are people still freaking out about this?
Actually, yes. Yes, there was a confirmed Ebola case in Scotland just yesterday.
So yeah, with the Ebola, that would explain why they made me sign a piece of paper asking me about whether or not I've been out of the country that could possibly contract Ebola.
Have you been out of the country?
Not in years.
Didn't you go to Miami recently?
No, that was Tampa.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's part of the country. Part of Florida. I like the shape of Florida. Looks like we're pissing on Cuba.
Yeah, a little bit. Speaking of Cuba, what's all that about our relations with them have changed now?
Nice segue.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Apparently, as early as a month from now, they'll begin normalizing relations with Cuba, both trade and travel. So it could be the beginning of the end of the embargo.
Well, here's my main question with that. Does that mean that real Cuban cigars will be legal?
Perhaps.
Because that's exciting.
I want some of them old cars.
Yeah, you think they're still going to run?
They still run.
Usually away onto boats trying to get to Florida.
Oh, that's very clever. No, actually, if you go to Cuba, it's mostly old 50s and 60s American cars. That's what people are driving.
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
It is cool.
That sounds like something I'd be interested in. I didn't know this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, everybody drives around in these claptrap old 50s and 60s American cars, the pre-embargo ones. Another good thing about this is that people won't have to go across on, boats and tires and trash bags. They might just be able to fly there.
That's if they don't disappear halfway there.
Just this week, we had an airplane on its way to Singapore just disappear. Let the record show there were air quotes around that. There's really not any question of what happened to it. Pilot called in and said, "Oh, we're approaching weather. We need permission to fly up above it." And air traffic was like, "Yeah, there's traffic above you. You can't go up." And then the plane disappeared. Big mystery. Not like the one that went down earlier this year, the Malaysia Airlines flight in the South Pacific, which just dropped into the ocean for no reason and nobody found it. Luck of that airline. Had one shot down over Ukraine a couple of weeks later.
What was this, like they thought it was a UFO and started firing at it? Like, why did they shoot this down?
Well, the Ukraine, the Crimean Peninsula has been disputed between Russia and the Ukraine.
You're right.
Even though it's clearly part of the Ukraine. And a Malaysian Airlines passenger jet was flying over, and one of the two sides shot it down, thinking it was a military cargo jet.
Passenger plane, cargo jet. Sure. I mean, I could see how they'd make that mistake, right? No?
Well, I mean, it's an easy enough thing to avoid if you, look.
That's what I was thinking. So how about that Putin, huh?
Fuck Putin.
He must be putting on the Ritz. Putin on the Ritz. Putin.
Moving on. Not everything was crap this year, though. We did have Neil deGrasse Tyson bringing back Cosmos
Yeah.
on Fox, of all places.
Definitely didn't see that coming on Fox.
And me neither, but it makes sense. Because, let's be honest with ourselves, people that are watching PBS don't need Cosmos.
Okay. That's a good point. PBS, is that still around, or?
Yes, yes it is.
That's a good thing.
I give them money all the time. Okay, twice a year.
Twice. Yeah, I didn't even. My TV's so bad I don't even get PBS right now.
Nobody in the world is as good as bilking money out of you as public radio. They've got the guilt trip down worse than the Catholics.
I don't know. Those sad puppy commercials are pretty bad.
With Sarah McLachlan?
Mm-hmm.
I was watching one, and you had all the sad puppies and kittens, and I was getting really depressed. And then they showed them rolling a giant cow with a forklift, and I burst out laughing. It ruined the whole commercial for me.
I know which commercial you're talking about.
The cow's like, oh, they're rolling it over with a tractor.
I saw that and I was just like, wow, okay, this is PETA here now, not
It's supposed to
Save the
make me feel
Puppies.
bad, and I'm just over here cackling like a giant dick that I am. Look at that steak.
He's getting tenderized.
So we've got Cosmos, we've got Bad Kittens.
Bad kittens.
Sad kittens.
Sad kittens.
We got Bad Kittens. A cat in Russia last week ate $1,000 worth of fish.
Yes.
Yes.
That was one of our news stories. I know.
I had to make it sound like Bad Kittens wasn't a mistake.
Hey, but there's nothing better than them going in and just opening up all the packages of all the meat and the fish, and I thought that was hilarious.
It amused the hell out of me. In Soviet Russia, pussy screws you. You never heard it. That was the joke I put in at the end. I'm so sad that we lost that horrible, horrible, horrible joke that you had.
Which one?
I don't remember what it was, but you were like, do not put that in the podcast. And I'm like, nope, that's staying in. She was like, I will cut it out in post.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
It was just a failed joke. The joke just fell on its face. And speaking of failed jokes, we also had some comedy. Some real good comedy. Did you see the Bill Nye Ken Ham debate?
I saw parts of it. I didn't see the whole thing.
I haven't seen the whole thing, but I'm pretty sure it went down like this. I've got a book. I've got facts.
Well, from what I kept seeing, it wasn't even Bill Nye's verbal responses as much as it was his physical response. His face was just looking at the guy going, are you fucking kidding me?
Bro, do you even science?
Oh, God.
I've got a book. We've got a book, too. These guys need to read more books.
That's kind of what it felt like. I've got a good news story for you.
What do you got?
I don't know if you heard about this one or not, but Skinny Puppy, remember the band?
Yeah, I know of them.
They're demanding $666,000 in royalties from the U.S. government for using their music in Guantanamo Bay torture.
Yeah, I would use Skinny Puppy's music in torture as well.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about the whole Guantanamo Bay torture. I just found that was an interesting fact, that they're using Skinny Puppy's music. I don't know if that's an insult or if that's praise, I mean, for what they're going for.
It's probably against the Geneva Convention. But on a more serious note, I don't think you can charge people royalty for torturing other people with your music, only if they're making money off of it. I think once they buy the CD, they can make anybody listen to it they want.
Well, I guess using Skinny Puppy's a good deferment from what else are they doing over there? Waterboarding?
I don't know. Skinny Puppy? I think I'd rather be waterboarded.
Speaking of dumping water onto people's faces, what about this whole internet phenomenon that went on this year with the ice bucket challenge?
The ice bucket challenge. Yes.
First thing I have to ask, did you do it?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Did you videotape it and put it on the internet?
No.
Because I want to see that video.
It's gone. The video's gone.
Okay, why did you do it?
None of your business. I mean, ALS.
Did it have anything to do with the bedroom?
No.
Oh, well, that was my first thought.
It was in the bedroom. I would have videotaped it.
Well, it's different types of torture. You never know. No, I definitely did not do it. But my God, I swear, for, what was that, about a month, I couldn't go on Google or Facebook or anything without having somebody else's video pop up on my news feed or everywhere about the ice bucket challenge. It got pretty obnoxious after a while.
There were a couple of real good ones, though.
There was definitely a few good ones.
Like the guy who tried to dump the water out of the tractor bucket, instead got a compressed spine when they dropped the bucket on him. Let's see. The woman on the horse was pretty good.
I don't think I saw that one.
A woman tried to do the ice bucket challenge on horseback. Horse wasn't too thrilled with it.
I can imagine.
Took off running, knocked her on her ass. Brilliant.
Well, I mean, There was also Danielle Harris did it naked. That was good.
It's not bad.
Yeah, see? Well, speaking of naked women, did you hear about Malaya Yousaf getting the Nobel Peace Prize?
That is insanely inappropriate.
You expect anything less from me?
I don't think I could. But yes, I did hear about her winning the Peace Prize. And good for her. Really good for her. That is something that made me happy when I heard that. You know, she's been a champion for women's education, and is also the youngest ever, Nobel laureate. She's 17, I think. Has been, fighting the Taliban in the best way possible with education. Because some people need the religion educated out of them.
Yeah, ISIS could use the religion educated out of them.
Oh, dear God, ISIS. ISIS, or ISIL, or the Islamic State. You know what they call them in Europe?
What's that?
Daesh.
Daesh?
Yeah, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. It's an acronym of the Islamic words for the Islamic State, but it sounds like it's very similar to an Islamic word that means to tread upon.
See, I was thinking you were just going with some weird French version of the word douche.
It's pronounced Deutsch, but
I'm not talking about German, Jesus.
German, Jesus.
No.
Moving on. No, Daesh. It's loosely an acronym of their name in Arabic, but it's similar to the word that means to tread upon, and that's like the worst offense you can give somebody in Islam is to hit them with your shoe, to tread upon them. So they keep calling them Daesh, and they're like, don't use that name. We don't like that name. And, well, it's fucking settled now. So I love that. I think we should start doing that here.
Since you did bring up Germany, did you get to watch any of the World Cup this year?
I only saw a couple of the games, some of the final games. My team got knocked out early because it's, World Cup, go America, but really Italy. So my teams got knocked out early. I kind of jumped on the Netherlands or, Germany bandwagon towards the end.
Did you know the World Cup, if I remember correctly, was number 5 topic on the internet in America and number 1 in the world this year?
I believe it.
Ebola being number 1 in America, of course.
People aren't all that bright.
I don't know.
I did see that game, though, that 7-1 horrific, televised, international raping of Brazil.
That was a good game, though. That was a lot of fun to watch. I saw as much as I was able to when I wasn't working. I watched a lot of it.
That was a shutout. I mean, I watched the last series final when it was, what was it, Netherlands and Spain. You had to watch a Dutchman kick a Spaniard in the heart.
Yeah.
What did it finish, 2-1?
The whole game.
7-1.
People were crying.
Oh, I bet. Wow.
It's a big deal.
No, it's not. It's World Cup. You're gonna get all sorts of crazy emotions from people, and people are gonna cry, get upset. I'm honestly surprised with the way that the whole World Cup went that there wasn't some sort of riot.
There's always a riot.
But there wasn't a riot with like Germany leaving in Brazil. Germany wins. I mean, you would think, or I should say, I would think that Brazilians would have been going crazy, getting pissed off, some sort of riots. But no, we've got the other riots going on here in Ferguson and now other places in the country. They're rioting about that, but they're not rioting about the World Cup, which is usually, soccer riots are known.
Well, to be completely honest, neither one of those things is worth rioting about. Just this past weekend, there was that shooting in, was it St. Louis?
Yeah.
The kid pulling a gun on the cop in the gas station.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
There's video of the kid pulling a gun on the cop. But that fucking racist pig shot the kid instead of allowing the kid to shoot him. Bastard. Hashtag Black Lives Matter.
I'm appalled.
Yeah.
I can't believe this.
Yeah. So the community rallies around to protest by lighting the gas pumps on fire.
So let's just destroy somebody else's business that had absolutely nothing to do with the situation. Somebody's livelihood, possibly other people's lives.
Hashtag arrest the police.
Yeah, that seems to be the trend right now. It's been going on for just over a month, I think, where it's been nonstop with this stupidity everywhere. It's not even just Ferguson anymore. It's all over the country. Everybody's coming out with this.
You had the 2 cops shot in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Execution style. And the guy says it's, quote, retaliation for violence against minorities. Both of the cops in question are minorities, by the way.
There was a business, I can't remember what the business was, Oh, that's going to drive me nuts now. But there was a business that actually put up a sign that said, "I can breathe, I obey the law."
Oh, it reminds me of the old Chris Rock sketch on how not to get your ass kicked by the police. Featured such wonderful advice as obey the law, shut the fuck up, and stop immediately, as well as get a white friend and leave your angry wife at home.
Yeah.
Because a angry woman will say anything to see you get your ass kicked by the police. He got weed, he got weed.
Weed.
Yeah, weed.
You
Marijuana.
know, that was supposed to have been medically legalized here in Florida, and yeah, that didn't happen. It's going everywhere else. We're going to be the last state to get this shit. I mean...
My issue. Did you vote?
No, I actually didn't.
Oh, well then you're not allowed to complain.
I'm not complaining. I don't smoke weed, so I don't really care.
I did, and I voted against it.
You smoked weed and you voted against it?
I have smoked weed, because I was a child once,
Oh.
and then I grew up and I stopped.
I did as well when I was younger. I don't anymore.
But I also voted, and I voted against it, and I'll tell you why. Because medicine is not a democracy. Either it works or it doesn't. You don't get to vote on it. Had they come out and said, we want to smoke pot because we like the taste of it, and we like it when we get silly and hungry and paranoid, I'd have been like, knock yourselves out, and probably would have voted for it. I just got pissy because they were like, yeah, it's medical marijuana.
Well, I think either way, it should be legalized. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a heavy drinker, as we all know. Drinking and driving is not a good thing to do. I've also been high and driving. You're, first of all, far less likely to be speeding and swerving all over the place when you're high, because you're too paranoid and you're too out of it.
It's actually about the same. Studies show that it's actually just about the same.
Interesting. I never sped when I was, actually I found myself going slower when I was high. I'd be driving down the road, get to see a speed limit sign, go, wow, it's 45. I look down, I'm going 30. I'm like, oh shit, I need to speed up.
But marijuana was legalized in Colorado.
Yes. Medical
Colorado's
marijuana has been legalized in California for a while.
Yeah, but I believe it's been about a year, coming up on a year of legalization in Colorado, and just on the taxes alone, they've made a shit ton of money on it.
See, that's one thing. Why not just do it? Get it done with. Get it out of the way.
I don't have a problem with it being legalized. I'm just so fucking sick of seeing pot cures everything. Ebola came around, they were like, oh, pot cures Ebola. You know what cures Ebola?
What's that?
Death. Well, it's certainly been a busy year, but hasn't been so busy we haven't been able to take time to sit down and watch movies.
And watch a movie we did, sir.
Yes, several weeks ago.
We watched the movie Stretch, which was about a celebrity limousine driver in California trying to make his way as an actor. Life is pretty much failing for him. Every time he turns around, something else goes wrong. He's finally getting his foot in the door, picking up some bigger names, getting some bigger tips, trying to make the money, and his gambling debt comes back to haunt him.
Doesn't he have to come up with about $6,000 in roughly 6 hours?
Yeah, he's got to come up with $6,000 by midnight that night. He's got his friend back at dispatch trying to find every nook and cranny celebrity that he can get his hands on, any rich person, anybody that he knows is going to tip well to make the money. When this billionaire Roger Caros literally falls into his lap naked skydiving, picks him up and does whatever he says and puts him on a crazy long night of an adventure throughout the city. Personally, I enjoyed the movie. It had some good parts as far as humor goes. A little bit of action, a little bit of suspense, just some complete craziness, mind fucks that were going on throughout it. A lot of, what's the right word, shenanigans going on throughout the whole movie. That
Shenanigans.
I can't say kept me on the edge of the seat, but it didn't make me want to shut the movie off either.
I have to disagree with you on almost every point there.
So no shenanigans?
No shenanigans. I thought the shenanigans were childish. I thought that they were sprinkled in far too frequently to be shocking.
Isn't kind of part of that what made the movie enjoyable? Because it was slightly mindless?
No, that is exactly what made the movie unenjoyable for me. Is unenjoyable a word?
I'm pretty sure that's a word.
Either way, that's exactly what made the movie difficult to enjoy for me, was its zaniness. I mean, the film started with what's-his-name getting hit by a car and thrown through the air. Through a window, didn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't get hit by a car. He was in a car.
He was in the car.
He was thrown through the windshield of the passenger window and flew through the air and landed without a scratch. Miraculous. And I just thought, oh, okay, so realism's going out the window with him. got about 10 minutes into the film, and I was buried in cameos. So deep to the point that I didn't give a shit anymore.
Come on, cameos make movies fun. Mel Brooks, his movies are cameoed all the time. Muppet movies are cameoed all the time.
Yeah, but not to the point of this movie. You turn around, you got Ed Helms and Norman Reedus and his ridiculous celebrity party. And then you turn around, and it's Hasselhoff and Ray Liotta. Was it Ray Liotta?
Yeah, Ray Liotta's
Ray
one of the people you had to
Liotta
pick up.
and Shaun White, the snowboarder.
So it was a low-budget movie that he was able to find enough cameos for to make it interesting, being it was about a celebrity limo driver.
Yeah, but I just think they overdid it. It's like name dropping. You know, you do it once, all right, oh, neat. You do it constantly, it's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think they overused the cameo.
So the movie has to have more intelligence in it and less cameos for you to enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some real good cameos. Like, one of my favorite unexpected cameos was Dave Matthews as the clothing salesman in I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry.
Good cameo.
It's one of those things where, you know, the character comes in and you're like, hey, that's... ha 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 ha. And then they leave. And
So you felt like David Hasselhoff and Ray Liotta were on the screen too long?
I think they were there too long.
I mean, at least Norman Reedus' scene was like 3 seconds.
Yeah, but it was idiotic.
Why? Because of the dead hooker and severed penis?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
you don't know that. That could be Norman Reedus' thing. We don't know.
I seriously doubt it. He's probably a very boring guy.
You
Walks
think
around
so?
in his bathrobe and his bunny slippers. And
He
reads
just
books.
doesn't shave.
What's that?
I said, just doesn't shave.
I
I don't know. He
suppose.
just looks like he doesn't shave for some reason. Although I don't hardly shave either, so I can't say too much.
The film just dragged on, sprinkling these nuggets of stupidity around. I don't know. I just think the film had a vibe of a low-rent Hangover, or one of those, boy, what a crazy night kind of super bad Wild Night movies.
It definitely did. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that, but for such a low budget that they had, and they filmed it in something like 3 months, it was still done fairly well. With the budget, they had a lot of people in it, cameos. Okay, you feel that they were overdone. I'll give you that. That's each person's opinion on that one. The craziness was a little over the top, but I thought that kind of is what made it fun. Again, the Hangover thing. You know how many movies are there that it's all about that crazy night that something bad happens. Go all the way back to the 80s. You got Adventures of Babysitting. I mean, that one movie alone right there is a starting night like that from the mid-80s.
Well, I unfortunately, or fortunately, haven't seen that one.
Really? That's a good movie.
No, haven't seen it.
Adventures in Babysitting. I haven't seen it yet. I might watch that later. Good movie.
I don't know. The film just kind of, honestly, 60 minutes in, I was bored with it. If it wasn't requested by our wonderful listener, I probably would have turned it off.
Do we know which listener requested it?
I actually don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
I just draw it out of the trash can. I don't put names on it. Because otherwise I'd be calling you out by name.
Hey, I didn't think the
Listener.
movie was... The movie really wasn't that bad. So the guy gets into all this crap because of because of Kratos.
Karos. Like the syrup.
Yes, I keep saying his name wrong. I think in Kratos, God of War.
I think it should be Kronos.
Kronos, okay. Kronos, like from Snowpiercer.
What was Kronos from Snowpiercer?
That was the drug that was also C4. Remember? We watched that movie a few weeks ago.
That was months ago.
Huh? Months? I don't think it was that long.
Seems like months ago.
Well, so he's got him running back and forth. Mob boss, the guy's he basically promises him the money he needs to pay off his bookies. And it turns out that he's getting investigated by the FBI. So the whole night kind of turns this guy's life around. It pretty much gives him a spine. He didn't have that before. He was, he'd turn around, yes, sir, no, sir, whatever you need, sir. I mean, he steals his own car. I know you're going to say something about that. That was one of your nitpicks, wasn't it?
God, with the key hanging out of the door?
No, I was talking about the time when they shut it off and he pretended to be the cop to get the car to get turned back on.
This is Officer Raymond Liotta. It was idiotic. Firing his blank gun out the window. I don't know. Lowbrow film for me, man.
Well, I mean, what did you think about the end? He's like, screw it, and just throws the money everywhere. Kind of walks away like, oh, there was never an issue, but the guys that are about to kill him are standing right there.
Honestly, if I'm honest, it was kind of a cop-out. It was like they wrote them all into these great situations, and they were out of shooting time and out of money, and they were like, just make him throw the briefcase and walk away. That'll be great. And then he can get the girl. Yeah. They all gave each other high fives. And
He gets a
smoked
girl
bowl.
that he doesn't even know who it is, but it turns out it's his personal secretary, so to speak.
And how long did it take you to figure out that it was going to be her?
Not very long, you.
No. Don't you want to see a picture? No. Oh, well, then it's going to be somebody he knows. Let's see, how many girls are in this film? 1. All right, cool. Then it's going to be her.
Yeah, okay. That's, about the way my brain might
Yeah,
process that as well.
It was pretty formulaic.
All right, Jay, so obviously you didn't care for the film that much. I did. We're doing a 1 out of 10 scale. What's your rating on it?
1 out of 10. We'll call it a 4.
4?
We'll just go with a 4. Yeah.
Oh, it's higher than what I thought you were going to say.
I mean, it was all right, I guess. It was entertained as long as you don't think about what you're watching. You know, you could look at it and go, ha 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 ha, celebrities live crazy wild lives. So as long as you don't put any thought into it, you could be entertained. But
Yeah.
and if I suppose if I wasn't watching it with the intent of reviewing it, I might have enjoyed it a little bit more. But I did have to think about it, and it didn't hold up to any scrutiny. So yeah, 4.
4? All right.
What about you?
Well, with what you said being the exact reason I did enjoy it, it was a night I could sit down, grab a drink, even eat some food, throw it on, and not have to pay attention. There was nothing really to think about. It didn't have too many really slow parts, so it was always moving. It kept me entertained. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7.
So I rated a 4. You rated a 7 because it was a brainless film.
It was a change from what we've been watching, that's for sure.
Next week will also be a change from what we've been watching, because I'm going to reach into the Close Enough trash can once again and pull out a new suggestion. Nice. Looks like next week we're going to be watching Knights of Badassdom.
Knights of Badassdom. That's the kind of RPG live action role playing movie, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd seen some previews for this about a year ago, and I guess it's just hit Netflix recently. Somebody threw it into the Close Enough trash can, and now it's in my hand.
I almost completely forgot about that movie. It does look like it's going to be pretty funny.
Well, I just hope that I don't get let down. Well, go ahead and open up Netflix, check out Knights of Badassdom, and join us here in 1 week, hopefully, where we review Knights of Badassdom.
Well, Jay, it looks like you have something for me to drink this week.
I do. Seeing as it's the end of the year, I figured we should bring out something special. So I broke out a bottle of Glenfiddich. It's a 12-year single malt Scotch whiskey. Should go down plenty smooth. But being that it's the end of the year, we should have a toast. We should have a toast in remembrance of those that we've lost this year. So everybody at home, everybody listening, go ahead and get yourself your favorite drink and just take a moment and we'll talk about a few of the people we've lost this year and think about the people that you've lost as well.
Prost.
Skål.
No.
No clinks, no clinks.
There's enough ice clink. I do have a list of some of the more memorable people that we know or have at least heard of, and I'm going to go ahead and go down the list. If you have anything to say, anything that you remember about them or whatever, just go ahead and jump in. First of all, I've got Wayne Static.
Wayne Static. Wayne Static, frontman of Static X.
Static X, yes.
One of those bands that I remember from that wonderful period of radio rock in the late 90s.
One of the few times when radio was tolerable to listen to.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I've got Richard Kyle.
Richard Kyle.
It was Jaws in the James Bond movies.
Oh, yes, yes.
I know he was in... What else was he? He was something else. One of the big ones for me, Dave Brockie.
Oh, yes. From Gwar?
Frontman of Gwar, Odorous Euronymous. He,
Quite a showman.
very good showman. Just insane mind, the stuff that he came up with that band and fronted that band from pretty much nothing to what they've become now. That's a huge break as far as showmanship goes. I mean, really, your first thing you go all the way back was Alice Cooper. Now you're going to stuff that Gwar is doing, and that's a stage show right there.
He was a showman to the very end, too. I believe he went out with a Viking funeral.
He did. He did go out with a Viking funeral. Next, I've got Don Pardo, the voice of SNL.
Live from New York.
It's
Saturday night.
Yep, neither of us can do him at all.
No.
But that's exactly who
I
he
don't think
was.
anybody can. That's kind of the point.
He had that voice, man.
That's a shame.
For years and years, he was doing that since the 70s. Next up I have, which you may not know this one, she was the Scream Queen from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, Marilyn Burns. Did you ever see the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
You know me in horror movies, Mike.
Yeah. but still one of the best movies. I just figured you might have seen it. I've got blues musician Johnny Winter.
Oh.
Eli Wallach died at 98. He was best known for his role in Good and the Bad, the Ugly. Several older movies as far as his roles go. Here's one for you. Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem. I remember growing up, and my sister would be listening to Casey Kasem doing the top 40 on weekend mornings. And Casey Kasem.
All right, next on I've got Rick Mayall. I don't know if you know who that is or not.
I do not.
Drop Dead Fred, and he was also in The Young Ones. He was kind of the more punk-looking guy that was in that show. You never saw Drop Dead Fred?
I haven't.
Right.
I may. It seems kind of familiar to me, but I'll have to go look it up.
No, I think that one of our listeners needs to go ahead and put that in our trash can so we can maybe hopefully pick that up for 1 week, because that's a good classic.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is a subtle hint.
We have Ann B. Davis, who played Alice on the Brady Bunch.
Ah, the maid?
The maid, yes. I've got Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney?
Yeah.
How old was he?
93.
93?
It's a long life for a little man.
That's not nice.
Next up, I've got Ultimate Warrior. Not really a big wrestling fan. Yeah, not really a big wrestling fan, but I mean, he's still a name that we remember. He stands out.
Yeah, well, when I was a teenager, I watched wrestling.
Ooh, here's a big one. Bob Hoskins.
Bob?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah.
Oh.
He was Smee and Hook.
Unleashed with Jet Li.
Unleashed, yes, that was another one.
And who else was in that film? Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, that was a good movie, too.
It was a real good movie.
I've got a couple comedians. John Panette.
Okay.
Definitely a fan of his. I don't know if you've seen much of his
I
stuff.
don't know much of his stuff.
He's a lot of fat jokes and eating jokes, but pretty funny.
Self-depreciative? Or,
a little bit.
Or mean?
No, self-depreciative. Definitely funny, though. We've got David Brenner and Bob Casale from Devo.
Devo. Oh.
Remember Devo?
Of course I remember Devo. I was alive in the 80s.
Yeah. We've got Harold Ramis from Ghostbusters.
Egon?
Yep, he's gone. Well, not just Ghostbusters, though. Throughout the years, he did a lot of writing and directing. He was in Stripes, also. I don't know if you ever saw Knocked Up, for instance. He was one of the... I don't remember...
Seth Rogen?
Yes, Seth Rogen.
I've seen that.
I believe he was a co-director, and he actually co-starred in it as Seth Rogen's dad. I've got here Pete Seeger.
Oh.
Here's one, Joan Rivers.
Joan Rivers. Dot Matrix.
Best movie she ever did, in my opinion, there. Virgin Alarm. Set to go off before you do. Here's one for you. Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a tough one. He was a big actor, and
He was a big actor, and he's involved in a fairly big project going on right now. I just saw the third Hunger Games film.
yeah, he was in the second
Yes,
and the third one.
I like the Hunger Games, okay?
Hey, I do too.
It's Battle Royale for tweens.
It was still good.
Yeah.
Although that's exactly what I said when it came out. I refused to watch it at first. I said, this is just another part of Battle Royale for tweens. I think that's my exact words just about.
Intelligent Girls Twilight.
Here's one that got me. Was Tommy Ramone. He died at age 65. He was
Of the
last,
Ramones?
yeah, he was the last remaining member of the original Ramones. Got Russell Johnson. He played the professor on Gilligan's Island. He's gone, sadly enough, off to that island there. And why did I just fucking say that?
I have no idea. When you die, you don't go to an island.
Oh, maybe he is. That's, they're all set to go to...
Was he bad? You go back to the island. No jokes about dead people, please.
Yeah. Anyways, Bob Hastings from McHale's Navy.
Okay.
He's one I've got on our list. I've got a personal one here. This kind of ends the list that I've made. That this was the one that really affected me the most. Robin Williams.
Oh, of course.
That was a big shock to me. I mean, I think for like 2 days I literally walked around saying, no, that's not true. That's not true. I couldn't believe it. He was one of the ones. He was by far my favorite stand-up comedian. All his movies he did, whenever I'd watch them, I could just fall right into his characters. And I mean, you go back from, I remember seeing reruns Mork and Mindy when I was a kid.
I watched Mork and Mindy on Nick at Night.
Mm-hmm. Nick at Night. Going...
Nanu.
But he could just pull off almost anything except for, I was going to say except for being serious, but then again, if you've seen some of his serious roles, I mean, he was
You
amazing.
remember the celebrity quotes game I did?
Hmm.
Episode 2 or episode 3, where I only pulled from serious films, and even his semi-serious films. Dead Poet Society
Great.
was a serious film, but it had its humor in it.
Insomnia.
1 Hour
Insomniac.
Photo.
1 Hour Photo. That's when
Insomnia. 1 Hour Photo.
That's when I was trying to think of. 1 Hour Photo.
I
Man,
really liked Final Cut though. That was a good film.
that is a really great film. But I mean, if we're gonna talk about a series, you got to talk about something that's not. I mean, as a kid, I'll never forget Mrs. Doubtfire.
I watched when he passed in memorandum. I watched The Birdcage.
Ooh, good movie.
I watched The Birdcage. Was how I wanted to remember him.
I actually that night, if I remember correctly, went home, started drinking, and I put on both of his HBO Broadway stand-ups, and like back to back watched
The one
them.
with the giant eyeball up in the back of the stage looking at him.
I loved it.
The last thing a clitoris ever sees.
Man, you could go. I could go on just quoting those. I'm not gonna do that now, but that was just some of the best times ever was listening to his stand up. Even his older stuff, he's so neurotic. It was brilliant.
What is the joke about the clown? There was a man, he was very depressed. He goes to the psychiatrist, and he says, "I'm very depressed. I just can't seem to cheer up." And the psychiatrist says, "Oh, you gotta go out to the circus tomorrow. There's this clown named Parducci, and he's the best clown around, and he will guaranteed to cheer you up." And the man just starts to cry even more, and he says, "You don't understand. I'm Parducci." That was Robin Williams. He could make everybody happy but himself.
Yeah, that's how he was. Well, what about you? Do you have
I do have a personal loss. It's not as big of a headline as Robin Williams, admittedly, but mine was Tom Maglizzoli.
I'm not sure who that is.
He was one of the hosts of Car Talk on NPR, one of the Tappert brothers. Every weekend they would go and have a little show for an hour, and they'd talk about cars ostensibly, but really it was about people and about relationships. And just growing up, my entire life, every weekend I listened to Car Talk with my dad as they told bad jokes and laughed at them and snorted and told their puzzlers and made goofy names at the end of their show. You know, our statistician is Margin O'Vera, our food testers are Howard M. Burgers and Don Juan Dem Tacos. And listening to Tom and Ray click and clack, just it let me know somehow that everything was all right. You know, I sat on the living room floor and played with my Legos, and my father cooked breakfast, and Tom and Ray were on the radio, and everything was all right in the world. And as I got older, you know, sometimes when I started to feel bad, I'd go for a drive, and I'd listen to him on the radio, and everything was right. It brought me back to that. So when Tom died, he was 77, died of Alzheimer's. It just kind of, it hit me hard.
Yeah, Alzheimer's, man, that's a rough way to go.
The worst thing about being told you've got Alzheimer's is it doesn't happen just the once. That was a personal one for me, and I know that all of our listeners have had their personal losses over the year. So let's take a moment to think about them. Raise your glasses up and drink to their memory.
Well, I think that was a good way to end the year, so to speak. This is a new project that we've been working on. Everything's going fairly decent. We need to continue to move forward, look forward to a new year and a good change of pace with everything.
Absolutely. I just want to thank all of our listeners for, you know, joining us in this experiment, this little project here, and coming along for the ride. You know, we're still young. We're 10 episodes and 12 weeks in, and you know, we'll keep doing this as long as it's fun.
And please, we still do want to hear from you, especially, you know, after this episode. Let us know anything that you would like us to talk about, find new bands, keep suggesting movies. Everything that you can come up with, we're more than willing to have you here. Hey, if you're here, come on in, and maybe we'll even put you on the air.
Absolutely. You know, feel free to contact us at CloseEnoughRadio@gmail.com, or definitely hit us up on our Facebook fan page, Close Enough Radio. We do want to hear from you.
And on that note, I definitely want to say, everybody, have a good, safe New Year's Eve. Don't drink and drive. I'll be working all night New Year's Eve, so I won't even have the opportunity to do that. What are you doing New Year's Eve, Jay?
I'm working.
You're working all night?
Oh, yeah. No, I get out, but I'm in at like 4 a.m., so...
There you go.
So I'm New Year's Even right now with you guys.
What a nice way to go out. All right. Well, everybody have a great, safe New Year's, and thanks for listening.